saying that young people didn't support Bernie Sanders is kind of crazy because we're the only people that supported Bernie Sanders. That was kind of the issue and what was the frustration because mainstream media was calling him some crazy like communist and how he wasn't electable and they wouldn't have any Bernie panel. There'll be a panel talking about the primary with 4 Biden surrogates and 0 Sanders surrogates to discuss it. So obviously, like there was a huge, there was a whole documentary Vice did about the Bernie media blackout, how he almost got no favorable media compared to Biden. Biden had all his opponents drop out the day before Super Tuesday and endorse him to coalesce all of those votes, or he would not have been able to even beat Bernie if Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar and every other centrist didn't drop out the day before, throw their endorsement behind Biden, all in an effort to stop Sanders. So it's not a conspiracy. It's just the party is aggressively against progressives, and that progressives is the type of politics that young people identify with. As he said, as he was leaving, 25% of the electorate shouldn't determine the election. Well, I agree with that, but to target that 75% that doesn't vote, you need to do that with policy. You can't just do decency porn for 4 days and say we're better than Trump, we're more moral, but not give any details on how. Like people want to know, what are you going to do for my health care? You can't just say, we want to expand Obamacare. That's very vague. Like, what does that mean exactly? You don't want Medicare for all. So that is telling young people, your best healthcare plan still leaves over 10 million people uninsured. And that's going to be a lot of us. So we're seeing through the flowery talk. I like a nice speech. Obama gives great speeches. I'm not against the speeches, but I would like some substance behind it. We are the generation that mobilized, and he was the first president we got to vote for, and we mobilized and forced to vote for him. And we don't feel like he adequately fought for us once he was elected. I'm not saying it was all his fault and he didn't have crazy resistance in other circumstances, but it is what it is. We put him in office. He ran on change. He didn't do a lot of change. He was kind of safe and centrist. And he himself said he governed pretty much like a moderate Republican. That's not what we signed up for. Like, I mean, I understand the political chess and trying to, do that, but we signed up for change and you govern like a moderate Republican. That's not what we voted for. So to then come around and wag your finger at young voters and say, why don't you vote for Biden? We voted for Obama. Like, we're not Republican voters over here. We want progressive politics. We want progress. We don't want to go back to 2008. We also don't want to go back to 1968 with the Republican Party. We want just some policy, and it doesn't have to be radical. Joe Biden, if he came out for legalizing marijuana and releasing nonviolent drug offenders related to that, that'd be a huge step. That's not Medicare for all. That's not free college. That's not Bernie Sanders' platform. But as he said, we're not expecting a perfect candidate, but we are expecting some sort of olive branch. And for the convention to tailor to John Kasich and Colin Powell and have all these Republicans to only give Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez 60 seconds to do some procedural BS and not even give her a speech is a slap in the face of progressives. She is the rising star and the voice of the party for progressives. So to give her a pre-recorded procedural 60 seconds was and to give John Kasich a feature spot, like he's literally a Republican. So what you're telling me is you're willing to move the Democratic Party right to cater to Republicans rather than try to bring the Republicans over to the left. So that's why so many Republicans are so comfortable with Biden, because he's basically saying, I will govern as a moderate, non-crazy Republican rather than Trump, who's going to be an insane, asshole.
Christopher Johnson, tell us more about you. Who are you?
All right, this is Chris Johnson. I'm the guitarist and lead singer for the Cortland Experiment, also a contributor to BlackMenInAmerica.com.
Right? I see a lot of pundits on both sides of the aisle, on all of the networks and on the internet. Do you have a challenge or an issue with what you see and hear on TV?
I have a huge issue with the pundits, especially the mainstream media pundits. So I really want to stay out of the politics stuff and just focus on my music career, but I'm just infuriated by the negligence and the ignorance of the coverage that I see on MSNBC. Like, we were just happened to be riding home today and overheard an anchor talk about the Democrats need more political theater to help their base. Like, these are the same people that laughed at the idea of Donald Trump being president, the same people that cheerleaded Hillary Clinton and thought she was going to be this great candidate, the same people that
that despise Bernie Sanders, despite him being incredibly popular among the people. So these are the same talking heads that they just bring on morons. I'm sorry, not to be rude, but let's keep it real. Like, they're bringing on talking heads, they're bringing on morons that are so out of touch with the American people. Most of these people probably don't even know anyone who makes under $50,000. Maybe they should talk to their Uber driver. Maybe they should talk to the person bagging their groceries, and they would understand why their coverage is almost offensive to the American people's intelligence. When you're talking about Russiagate while people can't afford groceries, when you're talking about things like that, you know, what Donald Trump said that outraged you rather than the policies that he's, you know, enacting or having any strategy to defeat him. The fact that they think Joe Biden will be a good candidate to defeat Trump is absurd. And, like, you can mark my words now, this is a promise and a prediction. If Joe Biden runs against Trump, he will take a historic whooping, and it'll be a landslide in favor of Donald Trump, because it's going to be the same issue as Hillary Clinton of not, there's no energy, he has no energy with the base, or anyone under 40 is going to be voting for Joe Biden. But it's just, if I could dominate most of the talking heads that you have, if not just about all of them, and I'm just a regular guy, so I'm issuing that challenge. If any mainstream outlet or a local outlet wants to have me on to debate any of these people, or to have my take on it, you want to hear a different take from Black Men in America, like I said, we're one of the top websites, so if you know, let's just see. I'm putting that out there. You can at me, I want all the smoke. Come see me. I'll debate about any topic, any issue. We need fresh voices.